Welcome back, everybody. I'm Donald from Hidden Path Human Design. In the last video, if you're watching these in sequence, I spoke about the projector type, which basically details what a projector is. And today I want to talk about the projector authority, so knowing when an invitation is correct for you. If you're the projector type, this video is for you. So let's just review the projector strategy. Projectors are here to provide guidance, and they need to wait to be invited. So anything like a big life decisions, relationships, career, or living situations, you need to be invited into them. That's your strategy. Waiting, again, is an active state of awareness. So it's not just sitting around and doing nothing. It's being aware of your surroundings, who's paying attention to you, and all of that other stuff. You always need to be on the lookout for this. Recognition is very important for projectors and to their strategy. And this is about who sees you and how do they see you. So, are they seeing you in a way that you want to be seen? Are they seeing you in a different way? It's just something to think about before accepting an invite from someone. And it's important, this is very important to recognize because you can be taken advantage of if you go into an invitation that is not correct for you. For example, being asked to help somebody move house and it's going to take 12 hours and it's going to be a long drive and you simply don't have the energy some days to do that. So accepting that sort of an invite could land you in some trouble, not being able to keep up with everyone else and stuff like that. It's about being mindful of your energy and what you're actually being asked to do. So what is your authority? So you get an invitation to something, and now what? How do you know if it's correct for you? Your authority is the way you determine if an invitation is right for you. Projectors can have one of 5 different authorities, and these are hierarchical, meaning they're in order. So if you're emotional, you can't be splenic. You can't have splenic authority. So they go in order. So the 5 authorities are emotional, splenic, ego projected, self projected, and environmental or mental. And these are just names of the authorities from the human design system. So the first authority I want to cover is emotional authority. This is the highest up in the hierarchy. If you have your solar plex defined, which is in the right-hand corner here, you are an emotional being. This is one of the most common authorities for all types, really. About 50% of people have emotional authority, so it's just something to keep in mind. Being emotional is not bad or good. It's more of an indicator on how you can make correct decisions for you. So I know in society, people have a hard time with being called emotional, but it's not about being overly emotional or under emotional or having too many emotions. All it means is it's a guidepost for making decisions. And it's based on your nervousness or uncertainty. There's a wave, an emotional wave that goes through your body between hope and pain. This is about not making decisions in the moment. Clarity on what is correct for you comes over time with this emotional authority. So some advice when you have emotional authority is to tell people that you need to sleep on a decision, especially big decisions. And in the morning, you should have some emotional clarity on whether that decision is correct for you. Sometimes if the decision is really big, ask for a week's time. See how much time you can get away with asking for. In this game of life, you have to take it into your own power and be yourself and teach other people how to treat you. So if you need time to make decisions, make sure people in your environment know that as well, that you're not really making hasty decisions anymore. Now, with the splenic authority, this is the second one in the hierarchy. So the only way you can have splenic authority is if you don't have the solar plexus defined, but you do have the spleen defined. So it overrides all the other potential authorities after the spleen. And the spleen is on the bottom left here. This is more of an intuitive authority based on survival instincts. There's this immediate knowing in the moment to moment. It's spontaneous and quiet, often felt as a physical awareness of being safe or not. Is it safe to go here or not? Is it safe to go there? Is it safe to go with this person here? They've invited me to the movies. Do I feel safe with them? So, really leaning into your own feeling of being safe or not in the moment. So, you'll be able to tell right away when they ask you something, if you're listening to your authority, whether or not it's correct for you. So, this requires cultivating a bit of a deep trust in your own body and your own awareness of your body. How does it feel in the moment when somebody invites you to something, or you've been invited to a new job opportunity or to move house? How does that feel in your body right at that moment? And listening to that. Now, what can happen with this sort of authority, and I've heard it from other people with splenic authority, is oh, like after they made the decision, but not from a splenic place, they say, "Oh, I knew I should have did it that other way." Like they already had this knowing that they ignored, and then they entered in incorrectly into a decision or an invite. So it's just something to be aware of. You might even find that you've said that to yourself one or two times. Next, we have ego projected authority. So this is where, for a projector type, the only channel that can give you this authority is the channel of initiation. And this links the heart center to the G center, or the our identity center. This channel is the 2551. And this authority is all about willpower, or when you say, I will do something, you're going to do something. So if someone gives you an invitation and you say, I will, if you have that willpower to do it, it's something to look into. It's probably correct for you, because the ego center, or the heart center, is a motor. So it has the energy to propel you forward in that decision as long as it's correct. You stay healthy by keeping the promises you make with this sort of authority. It's a motor response, as I said, but it doesn't have unlimited energy. Negotiate with others what you're willing or not willing to sign up for within the invitation. So, making sure that the invitation is correct for you is also about managing other people's projections of what you're going to do or what role you're going to play in whatever you're being invited into. Are you accepting invitations from a place of being prideful or a place of more humility? So this is something to note about the ego center, is it's all about making decisions that are based in everybody's benefit. Being prideful, or I need this, or being selfish in the moment, and it doesn't really help other people, could lead to poor decision making. However, if you're humble and you're like, yeah, I could help this person out and it would help me as well and help everybody else, and just being humble and glad to be invited. Next, we have the self projected authority. This is a pretty interesting authority. It's when you have your G center, which is this yellow diamond in the center, connected to the throat, which is just above it. And it can be connected from this channel on the side or any of the three in the center. And again, if you have any of the other centers highlighted in your chart below this, you do not have self projected authority. You'll have splenic or ego or emotional authority. So, with this authority, it's a sense of what is correct emerges or comes out of you as you're speaking about it. So, this is where soundboarding is really helpful. Hearing back what you've said about a certain invitation. So, how are you talking about the invitation? What are other people hearing coming out of you? And also listening to yourself. So it's really important to have trusted people that you can talk stuff out with, but they're not really people that are going to give you their advice or their opinion on whether or not you should accept the invitation. What they're more there for is to listen to you and hear what you're saying and pair it or repeat it back to you so that you can actually hear what it sounds like to another person. So, this is like where your sense of self gets projected onto another person. They hear it in a certain way and they tell you what it sounded like. And then you're like, oh, is that really who I am? So, it's this constant comparing the decisions you're making or what's correct for you with who you are inside. So you can also do this if you don't have a trusted person that's just going to listen and not try to fix the situation, but just listen to what you're saying and say, you said this. If you don't have that type of a person, you can also use a recording device, record yourself talking about the invitation and how you might feel about it personally, and listen back to it to see what you're saying. And this is one of those authorities where talking to yourself is actually really healthy. So don't let anybody talk you out of talking to yourself. They might think it's weird, but this is basically your compass. Knowing what's correct for you is all about talking it out. And lastly, we get to environment or mental authority. These are our mental projectors, and there is no definition below the throat center. So you will not have any of the centers below the throat defined, and you may not even have the throat center defined. This is just an example. You can have the head to ajna and ajna to throat, but it's all above the throat. All 6 of these channels could be defined, but nothing below the throat. Now, with environmental authority, you don't have any inner authority. So, with all other types of authority, it comes from inside the body. This is more of like an outside the body authority. And I'll explain a little bit more as we go. So, the most important thing is being in the right environment. So, when you're in the right environment, you're with the right people. This is about comparing how things feel in your environment in your body with what your mind is mentally thinking about them. Clarity comes from your outer surroundings. How do you think about the people in your environment, the environment itself, and comparing it with the mental judgments? So it's like the feelings in the body and comparing it with the mental judgments. You can even do some soundboarding techniques with this authority. Some people find it helpful to write down what's going on in their life and then reading it back. But this is a very interesting authority where it's like an outer authority, where your outer world is telling you what is correct for you. So you'll know right away when you're in the incorrect environment. But it's really up to you to stay in that environment or try to find an environment that is more supportive to your health and well being. That concludes my discussion on authority. If you want to work with me, I offer foundational human design readings. It covers your type, strategy, authority, and many other key aspects of your design. Details will be put in the video description below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more videos. And thank you very much for joining me today.